Hello chess friends, and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel, and welcome to my Basics in Chess series. So in this series we follow opening principles, middle game strategies and the endgame strategies. Today we're continuing with the middle game strategies, and today I wanted to talk about the so-called open center positions. So when we are playing chess, we want to have, of course, the center control. The center of the chessboard is really the most important area in chess, and while playing the opening, maybe we want to have the center occupied with our pawns, because the pawns are restricting our opponent's possibility to play. But it's sometimes not possible, because your opponent can try some exchange variations, and then we get this open center position, and then you may get annoyed by this position because you don't know what to do and how to proceed in the middle game. So when we're playing in the open center position, as I mentioned, the center is the most important area of the board. So it means that we have to occupy the center with our pieces, so not with pawns. You cannot leave the center unoccupied. You have to really place your pieces towards the center. So it means when we have the rook here from a1, it has to play on the most central square as possible. So we want to occupy the center. It's the same idea here with the rook on f1, then it may be played to e1, and now we have occupied this open files. But for the rooks it's really natural, because sometimes we don't want to place the queen on the center of the board, because the queen can be an object of your opponent's attack. But when we play this open center positions, you should really consider the option of placing your queen even on the central square. The other important thing in this open center positions is when you get attacked, when your bishop maybe here from d3 is attacked, never go with your bishop towards the edge of the board. Go more central. So it means when your bishop from d3 is attacked, then try at least to get it to maybe c4 here or c2. Then you have again an attack against the center, and again you have occupied the center. So you see now in this a couple of examples how these masters did that very well in the continuation of their middle games. So as I said, the main ideas of this open center positions are occupying the center with pieces, placing the pieces on the most central squares as possible, and of course getting the pieces again aiming on the center. So we see now, let's see now the first example. It was a game played by Nigel short against Alexander Beliavsky. Here Alexander Beliavsky played the move c6, and of course it seems a calm move, but it's really not a calm move, because now Alexander Beliavsky showed that he's gonna try this pawn breakthrough, and he wants to open the center. Of course he wants to play c takes d5, or if d takes c6 by white is played, then of course he wants to follow up with the move d5 and really open the position. So that's why here Nigel short first took d takes c6, bishop takes on c6, and now we have this idea of placing the pieces towards the center. So here first bishop on g5, of course playing with this last active piece that hasn't played so far. We have to play with all of our pieces when we will have maybe an open center position. So here queen on c7, and again queen on f3. You see, we're getting towards the center. We want to have a more compact position. Now you see queen on b7 with the preparation to open the center. So that's why again a central move. Knight on g3, we want to occupy again the center with the move maybe knight on f5. Now comes this move d5, and we have knight on g4. We are placing again the pieces towards the center. Here Nigel short played on a pawn sacrifice, but now after d takes e4, the dynamics has really changed now, because although black is a pawn up, here it's not a mobile pawn anymore, because you cannot play e3, because then you lose the pawn. Of course this g2 is an object, but here Nigel short played on this idea to play with the queen as central as possible. So you can pause the video and try to find the best move now for the queen. As said, we have now a really open center position, so that's why here you should really place the queen on f5. You see, we're getting towards the center with our pieces. Here knight on d5 was played. Knight g6 is not so dangerous. Then of course knight on f6 with the check, so that's why here knight on d5, and again here knight takes on e4, very nice, and here rook on e6. black played also on this idea, getting the pieces towards the center, and of course the next move, rook on d1. You see, we have now these types of positions. Of course it's not the same, but you see now all of the pieces are aiming in the center. So you see we have now bishop, the knight, the queen is also in central here, the rooks are also central, because the position is opened and we're not supposed to leave our opponent the center. We should really try to battle in the center with our pieces. So here in the continuation, h5 was played, knight on e3, we have knight on f4, bishop takes on f4, and now here black made a mistake. He didn't see some tactics, because here after bishop on e4, here rook takes on d7 was the possibility. Here queen takes, bishop takes on f5, rook takes on b7, e takes f4, but now very nice move by Nigel short, rook takes on f7. In this position black resigned, because if you capture the rook, then first of course we can play here knight takes on f5, and this will be game over, because in the next move if you try rook on e8, then we will grab simply a rook, and this is completely winning here for white. So let's see now another example. Here you see in the continuation, here the queen takes on d5 was played, and here we have a dynamic pawn structure in the center, so it means that this this center will probably will be opened. So that's why you should really place your pieces towards the center. And here bishop on e3 meets with this idea. Here we have c takes d4, knight takes on d4, and now we have this open center position. We don't have any more pawns in the center. a6 was played, and now bishop on e2. Here it's a game played by Aaron Nimzovich against Semyon Alapin. Queen takes on g2 was played, but now bishop on f3. We have a counter attack against the queen. Queen on g6, and now queen on d2. You see we're again getting the pieces towards the center, getting them as central as possible. With the pawn down, of course we don't want to release the pressure and trade off the queens on d3, so that's why queen on d2 perfectly fine. Here e5 was played, and now castling by Aaron Nimzovich, sacrificing the knight. We have e takes d4, and now bishop takes on d4, knight on f6, and here you can pause the video and try to see this monster tactics here that Aaron Nimzovich has prepared. It was really sort of Paul Murphy style. Here the best move, bishop on f6, unbelievable stuff. Here after queen takes on f6, we have now rook on e1, and you see how important it is in this open center positions to open the files for the rooks to occupy the center with all of our pieces, because this long range pieces like the knight, rooks, bishops and queens, of course they function very well also from the first rank or second rank, because as I said, these are long range pieces, so we have occupied the center with the pieces. Now bishop on e7 was played, bishop takes on c6, king on f8, and here very nice queen sacrifice, queen on d8, bishop takes on d8, and rook on e8. Very nice checkmate. So let's see now another example. It's a game played by Lazlo Sabo against Paul Vaitionis. Here after the move c5, black showed his cards that he's gonna open the center. That's why it's not a problem here for white, because we have now good centralized pieces. So that's why here castling played by Lazlo Sabo. Here we have c takes d4, and now you should choose knight takes on d4, queen takes on d4, or e takes on d4. So many variations are here, and of course the best move is queen takes on d4, because we have already played with our knight on f3. So it means with this idea to not play with the same piece twice in the opening. Here queen on d4 is perfectly fine. If you take e takes d4, then you have an isolated pawn, which is not good in the continuation, so that's why queen on d4. And now we have again an open center position. Again we have placed all of our pieces towards the center. Basically what we want to do is maybe just play rook on d1, and then we have a perfect attack. We have all of our pieces on the best squares, and here knight on b6 was played. And let's now evaluate the position again through this ideas of this open center. So where should we place the bishop? Should we place it on bishop on e3, bishop on d3, bishop on e2, or bishop on b3? You should make the choice. You can pause the video and try to find the best move. Let's let's remember, we should always attack the center in open center positions with our pieces. So of course the best move is bishop on b3, not bishop on d3 or bishop on e2, because then this bishop on d3 would be aiming on the flanks. Here the bishop on b3 is aiming on the center, and that's a huge difference. You see now the importance of this bishop. This bishop will be a monster bishop in the continuation of the game. Here rook on d8 was played, and now queen on e5. Again, when we get attacked, we should place the queen as central as possible. Of course, most of us would try something like, I don't know, queen on h4, getting the queen really secured, but not Lazlo Sabo. Here he played again with this very nice open center principles. He played with the queen towards the center. Here bishop on d7 was played, knight on f5, using now the spin on the queen. That's why queen on f8, and now knight on d6, very nice outpost of the queen, of the knight. And here rook on b8 was played, and now knight on g5 with a direct attack on this very weak f7 square. Here knight on g4 was played, queen on g3, here knight on h6, and here knight on f7, very nice knight sacrifice, knight takes on f7, and now bishop takes on e6. If you take, then we have some forks, and here we have also the attack against this rook on b8, so this wouldn't be a good continuation. That's why bishop on e8 was played, defending this f7. But now of course rook on c7, getting more pressure against this f7. Rook on d7 was played, rook takes on d7. Of course you have to recapture with the knight, and knight takes on d7, and now rook on d1, queen on e7, and now rook takes on d7. We have rook on d8. Of course you cannot capture with the queen. If you capture with the bishop, then we will capture also this knight first with the check, and also then the rook. So that's why rook on d8 had to be played. But now rook takes on d8, queen takes on d8, and now h3, very important move. Now we are 2 pawns up, and of course we are going into a favorable endgame. Here h6, knight takes, bishop takes, king takes. And I'm not going to show you now the whole game. I will show you all of this PGNs that I used in this video. At the end of this video you can see it in the description below. Here I hope you realize it's completely winning endgame here for white. Let's see now another example. Again, we have really an open position. It's a game played by Mikhail Tal against Anatoly Lutikov. And Mikhail Tal was one of the best players in open center positions, because he was really nice tactically prepared. And he, of course, he played first here bishop on g5. As I said, these long range pieces are creating direct attacks against the center, so we are attacking this knight, which is the defender, again on of the pawn on d5. So that's why it meets with the idea to occupy the center in this open center position. So c takes d5, castling, very nice move by Mikhail Tal. Now we have placed again a rook towards the center, which is very important. So we are using now really this great principles of this open center position. Knight on c6, and here queen on a3, preventing black from castling. We want to have now this black's knight in the center. Bishop on e6 was played, bishop on c4, very nice pinning idea. Here queen on e7, and now knight takes on d5, very nice sacrifice. Here queen takes on a3, knight on c7, first to fork. Here rook on e7, now rook on e1, creating a very nice attack here. There were so many threats, you have to even give up the queen maybe here, but here rook on queen on c5 was really a mistake, because now rook takes on e6, very nice attack by the legendary magician from Riga. Here king on f8, rook takes on f6, we have g takes f6, now knight on e6 with the fork by the knight on the queen and the king. Here queen king on e7, knight takes on c5, and here we have f takes g5, rook on d7, king on f6, rook on d6, king on e7, and now rook on e6, getting this rook very active. And now of course knight on b7, knight on c7, bishop on d5. Of course you cannot take, because then would simply take this knight, and after that also the rook, and go again into a favorable endgame. Knight on b4, here bishop on f3, and I'm not going to show you again the whole game here. With this pawn majority, Mikhail Tal won the game very effectively. As I said, I'm gonna show you all of this PGNs in the description below, so you can analyze this very nice games for yourself at home. I just wanted to show you these games through this elements of this open center games. As said here, when we have this open center positions, occupying the pieces occupying the center with the pieces, getting use of this open files, and as said, when we get attacked, again try to attack the center on this diagonals, so never retreat towards the edge of the board. Try to play as central as possible in this open center positions. Okay, I hope you realized these ideas, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Meanwhile, you can watch my other basics in chess videos with some other opening principles, middle game strategies, and the end game strategies. And you can also watch my chess tactics and chess puzzles videos, and you can also watch my best chess games of all time videos if you want to see the best chess games that have been ever played in chess history. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you like this content. Thank you for watching, guys, and chess is the best, of course.